Mr. Chairman, HB 1461.
Yes, sir. All right, so I don't think Ricky went here for most of Rob's bill, so we've covered a lot. So I guess the question is yours is about 3 cows?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Actually, with the assistance of staff doing some legislative research on this issue, apparently in 1941 this was on the code. A person could sell raw milk from the farm if they had 3 or less milk cows. And through research of the legislative history, that there was no bill or legislative action to actually remove it from the code. When there was a transition of writing the new code, it simply didn't appear. So my intent is to bring back proper legislation for the people of Virginia. It is adding additional language, additional restrictions that were not there previously, which would be on the last page of lines 65 through 69, that it's a warning label, that it's not for resale, and that it's processed and prepared without state inspection, giving a warning label to it. And Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I heard some of the previous testimony for the other bill, and they talked about the burden of disease. Well, there is a very strong movement within not only in Virginia but society as a whole to obtain holistic natural foods that have not gone through the industrialized food processing network, to get back to natural foods without chemicals and pesticides and things of that nature, and actually go to the source of origin, the farmer. This isn't simply going to your corner market. This is actually going to the source of your food. And I really fall back, when they brought this to me, and I was thinking about it, really going back to the very founding of our country, where it talks about, we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The inalienable right of life. And the very issue of sustaining our life is we need to eat food. The very foundation, the very basics. And liberty. To me, the two go together. That we should have the liberty to eat our food to sustain our own life. And talk about the great amount of health regulations and things of that nature. And it was just a couple of weeks ago. I was at a local restaurant, and in the menu, ordering raw oysters. And right there on the menu, a big label that says, eating raw oysters is hazardous to your health, use at your own risk. A warning label, letting you know it may be bad for you. And I myself, up until 2007, would occasionally eat a raw oyster until I got one bad one. And I don't eat raw oysters now. But there's still that liberty to choose to eat the food to sustain your own life. And that's what we're asking for this bill to do, is just let folks have that right to get back to holistic foods, to the source of their milk, and actually restore the previous Virginia code. And as far as whole milk, it is okay for you. This here is actually raw milk. It doesn't knock you down. I actually grew up on raw milk. A little bitty, we'd my mom would send me on my bike down to the farm down the road. We'd take a jug and a quarter, put the quarter in a box, right, put the jug up to a big old vat, and just crank it over. Right. And that's how we got our milk. And we grew up, which is fine.
It was legal.
But I don't know if it was legal or not. But I hope it's the will of the committee to move this forward for even further discussion, and just have folks to have that freedom to get back to the original Code of Virginia and to allow a little liberty for the food. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let's see if there's questions in committee.
Marty, y'all are telling us, or telling him, and he's telling us that this was dropped in a recodification of Title 3.2 and the Code Commission didn't catch it.
Well, actually, there was an intervening bill that House Bill 298 in 1948, which repealed the exemption. See, that was in the original 1934 bill. So it was sort of not clear whether there was a specific bill that exempted it, or it just wasn't included with the title revision in the new title of 1950, where we redid all the bills in 1950. So it did not appear there. It had been in
He
before.
wasn't here then
It started off with 2 milk cows and then increased to 3 milk cows over the years.
So, Marty, have you seen this ever happen before, that where something was in the code and then disappeared?
That's why we hired him.
That's why we're here, I guess. All right. Other questions of committee?
I've got a question. Are there any other states doing this?
Mr. Chairman, actually there are, I believe, 25 other states. In 10, let me make sure I'm right. In 10 states, it's legal to buy raw milk retail, actually at the store. And in 15 other states, you can buy it directly at the farm. So yes, in 25 other states, you can buy raw milk.
Other questions of Patron?
To follow up on, is there, in those 6 states, do they have 0 state inspection or any kind of oversight? I know some states allow it, but there is some regulatory process for the intrastate sale. I can speak to that. Pennsylvania is one of them.
I don't
that
have
allows it
their-
intrastate,
I
but there
actually,
is some regulation.
Mike and them.
Actually, I'm from Pennsylvania. You just go in the farm, get your milk. There's no, and I dipped it from Amish tanks, which aren't up to code. So,
Mr. Chairman, I don't have that answer. I do have Mr. Micah. He may have that. He's actually one of my constituents from Surrey who brought this whole milk. Actually went and looked at his operation. Extremely clean. It's his milk I'm drinking. And I wouldn't drink this except because I went to his operation. I go to the farm. You know, and this isn't something that you're buying out of the back of a van. It's on the farm. Folks who go to this level, because they're seeking it out for them or their family. And a certain level of investigation. Hey, let me see the milk, let me see the cows, how are you doing this? This isn't for the average person, but the average person isn't going to go to the extent to obtain this.
Any questions of Patron?
Mr. Chairman, very passionate issue for some folks. And I just ask you to fall back to, the life of it. That's really what it comes down to, and even restoring the code. Back to where it was at in 1941. So I ask you to, pleasure of the committee to move forward.
Any further questions of the Patron? All right, what's your pleasure?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a comment and I'll make a motion. I grew up on raw milk, but I remember a lot of people, but not a lot, but some getting sick on it. I think I didn't, because where I come from, we sort of put something in it. So
That's an editorial comment. He's from Franklin County with it.
The safety issues are still there, and even though this is a smaller thing, we don't need to generate a spill.
All right, motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's non-debatable. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No.